Tommy Boyds.
There's a bunch of people, a huge bunch of people, who've had nothing but derision heaped and scorn piled on them for decades. Their shoulders are rounded with it, their heads are heavy, their chins are on their chest. The time has come to get them to stand bolt upright, look the world in the eye, and say with pride, with dignity, what they are, who they are, and what they've done, and what they will continue to do for us as a nation, and for themselves, but above all for their families, for they are a mighty army. Our commuters. I am a commuter. You, sir, madam, if you are a commuter. Free call 0500 1053 89. We should be, some of us are already, proud of what we do. I feel sorry for people who don't commute. There are an awful lot of people in Britain who are deprived of the delights, the spiritual delights, the physical delights, the emotional delights of commuting. And I feel genuinely sorry for the losers who work from home, from the losers who never have to leave the house, or for the real losers who live close enough to where they work that they only have to go round the corner. Misery, absolute misery, drudgery, prison. Free call 0500 1053 89. Commuters are champions, and I commute further than anybody in Britain. I am the champion of champions. Free call 0500 1053 89. 2 hours and 45 minutes. A car journey, a train journey, another train journey, another train journey, and then a tube and a bus. 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I love every minute of it. Do you commute? Does your partner commute? We are the lucky ones. Why, when you're commuting, you see Britain at its best. You see the changing seasons. You see when the river is up. You see the sort of places you're glad you don't live in. Free call 0500 1053 89. You get a chance to prepare for work. Now, this is very important because a man and a woman who's going to work has to undergo a kind of a transition, an almost Jekyll and Hyde, from being the loving, kind, gentle person who is at home to being the hungry wolf who goes to work and does the business when he or she is at work. And that kind of transition takes a little bit of time. And to do it properly and to do it in a controlled way, you have to think about it. And that's why we enjoy having a lengthy period during which we are journeying to work so that we can make that transition in a controlled way. Free call 0500 1053 89. You may have thought that your commuting was hell. I've got to tell you it is the making of you. And we should feel sorry for people who don't have the opportunity to enjoy it, to benefit from the experience. When you finish the day at work, you are a different person from the person that your family want back. So if you commute, you have an opportunity to wind down, to put your working day to bed. And about halfway through the journey, you should start thinking to yourself, right, now wait a minute. I'm not a person who works. That's something I do. That's not me. I am a family man, stroke woman. I have a partner I love and care about, and I have children and a dog to feed, and I have shelves to put up. That is who I really am. And it's only if you live a considerable distance away from where you work that on the journey home you have an opportunity to control that transformation. You see what I'm saying? Free call 0500 1053 89. Commuting time is your time. You don't belong to the boss. You don't belong to your family. You belong to yourself. You are with yourself. You own yourself when you're commuting. Nobody else can tell you what to do. Nobody can ask you to get them a drink. Nobody can suggest that you go and look at the problem with the drain pipes. When you're commuting, you are a free man stroke woman. It's magnificent. I recommend it. I wish I commuted more. I just do the 5.5 hours a day. Free call 0500 1053 89. Commuting is cheap. Commuting is comfortable. Commuting is friendly. You really do make new friends when you are commuting. You only have to sit opposite the same person 3 or 4 times in the course of a week, and you are on raising eyebrows terms. You go, huh? That's it. It may take another 3 weeks before you actually say, lovely weather for the time of year, unless, of course, there's that most wonderful thing, a delay. If there's a delay or any kind of a drama, you're off. You've got something to talk about. You can compare your experiences with the worst things that happened at Dunkirk. Free call 0500 1053 89. And then you notice that there is a buffet and it is open and you've had a can of lager together and you have a friend for life because you have tasted adversity together, and nothing bonds men or women more than adversity, not even mutual attraction. Free call 0500 1053 89. I feel really sorry for people who don't commute. Don't you? Oh, you don't commute? I feel sorry for you. Train, bus, plane even, is best. Car, it's not the same. It's not proper commuting. It's not convivial. It's not, and you've got to concentrate on the driving. So you can't read and prepare yourself. But hey, it's better than nothing. That number again, free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Call 0500 1053 89.
I love commuting, and anybody who doesn't is a traitor and a wimp. Karen calls from Oxford. You're on Talk Radio. Karen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Karen.
Darling, what time did you get up this morning?
What time did I get up this morning? 8 o'clock, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you were fast asleep when I was in my total dilemmas then.
Why was that?
I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, due to head up north.
Yeah?
Got in my little van.
Yeah?
And poodled up the old motorway to head north.
Yeah.
About 130 miles as I was sort of travelling up north, I realised I was running short of fuel.
Right.
So I called into a service station.
Yeah.
A lot of things going through my brain, and I fuel up, pay my dues, and off I go. About a mile and a half out of the service station, my van says, I'm not happy with this, and conks out. And I'm thinking, now what's wrong with this? I've had this van for 5 years, and this is all due to commuting.
No, it isn't.
Never let me down before.
No, it isn't commuting. That's not commuting.
Of course it is.
No, commuting is a routine journey that you do at least 5 times a week. That's commuting.
No, I do
Yes, it
this
is.
every day of the week.
You do? The same journey?
Up and down the motorway.
The same journey?
The same, well, not the same
No, exactly.
journey,
This is travelling.
Journey in terms of motorway driving.
This is travelling. This is totally different. This has got BBC Two programmes praising it.
No.
Yes, you get enough of your back slapped. You get enough of your sympathy because, you know, your van breaks down, get a decent one. I'm sorry.
No, it's not breaking down.
No?
My van didn't break down.
No.
I broke down. Because what I did was put 4-star
Yeah.
in a diesel.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't happen to people on a train, does it?
No, well, I'm sorry. What do you want? Have you come here for some help?
No.
You're not a commuter, I'm sorry.
I am a commuter.
No, you're not.
Of course I am.
No, we recognise us.
Commuters are people,
No.
as you say, get on a train, they get off, they get on, they get off, they get on.
That's it. Oh, that's it. That's the life. That's what I do, and that's what you don't do. And I'm sorry you're not joining the club.
Oh, that's not fair.
I say I made it quite clear.
I
People
have to
who
be
drive...
responsible for my own commuting.
People who drive are not commuters. That's not commuting.
But I don't drive a car, I'm driving a van.
It doesn't matter for people who drive. You drive it, don't you? Or in your case, of course, the answer is not very often, but
I don't
anyway.
have the responsibility of somebody else driving me.
You're
I
not
have
a
to do it
commuter.
myself.
You're not a commuter.
But I am in a term of commuting up and down the motorway.
No,
I have
you're
to
not.
be.
No, you're a driver. You're a traveller. It's different. I made this perfectly clear. I'm terribly sorry. I'm not going back over definitions again. Defining your terms. We do that at the top of the essay. We've done it. You ain't a commuter.
So I get no red star then?
On the
I
contrary.
get no tick, no red star.
On the contrary, I feel sorry for you because you're not. Rachel calls from Caerphilly. You're on Talk Radio. Rachel, good afternoon.
Hi, Tom.
Rachel.
I loved commuting.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I used to go to Cardiff every day, leave the house at 7:30 in the morning.
Yep.
In a state, get on the train, used to meet all my friends, used to take my knitting with me,
Yep.
put my makeup on,
Yep.
take my hair tongs with me.
Marvellous.
Met loads of friends.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How long did the journey take?
Oh, about 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah, well, that's not,
Not
that's
long.
not very impressive, really. But you've tasted the fruits.
Yes, and now I work in a village where it takes me about 10 minutes to walk to work.
Oh, no. Nightmare.
On my own.
Nightmare.
Nightmare. I used to love meeting all my mates on the train, catch up on all the gossip.
Have you seriously thought about getting a job further away or maybe
Well,
moving?
yes, but I got to get the children on the bus and things, so
Yes.
it's changed a bit. But when they're old enough, I'm going back on the train to Cardiff.
Rachel, thank you very much for your call. Free call 0500 1053 89. Patrick calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Patrick.
Shallow.
Shallow.
People who commute and enjoy shallow people. Very miserable lives.
On the contrary, it could not be more profound.
Total nonsense.
Absolute fact.
You enjoy commuting because you obviously enjoy the job that you do. You look forward to the job that you do, and I'm sure you would do your job for nothing if you could afford to do so.
This isn't about me. This is about a concept. Commuting. It's fantastic. It's profound.
It's not. It's the trains are smelly. Who wants to travel on a smelly train? You hit your hand on the train, smoke puffs up, it's nasty, people are in foul tempers because they've just woken up in the morning.
I'll tell you how profound it is. I'll tell you how deep it runs. It is all part of the hunter-gatherer's experience. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Nonsense.
Oh, for God's sake.
Twaddle,
Excuse
twaddle,
me. Excuse me.
twaddle.
Excuse me. Look at our animal heritage. Do you suppose that the wildebeest wanders into the lion's den? Or does the lion have to commute and find the wildebeest? Answer the question.
If the hunter,
Answer the question.
If the hunter had to go onto a train every single day just to get a lion, I'm quite sure he'd move closer to where the lion was.
But you never know where the gnu is going to be. If you're a lion, you've got to commute. You've got to go and look for him.
Shallow lives.
Look at the fox.
People who mute have very shallow lives.
Look at the fox. Look at the fox. I don't know what you know about wildlife. I love that sound. Keep talking. They're coming for you.
Twaddle.
You know...
Unfortunately, the people who sit down on a train every morning have nothing. They're so miserable in the morning. They're so depressed. They're so down.
Look, they're being themselves, man, because when you're with your family, you can't be yourself. And when you're at work, you can't be yourself. But at least when you're commuting, you belong to nobody but yourself, so you can be yourself. Those people, sir, excuse me, are free. They are free.
Free?
Yes.
Free. They have no choice. People like you are free because you love what you do. You enjoy what you do. And you would broadcast for nothing.
The only freedom that matters is the freedom that you have between your own ears. You can think what you like, and nobody can stop you. That's the only freedom that matters, and that's the freedom you should cherish and use well.
Twaddle. Nonsense. Twaddle. Nonsense.
You see, you don't commute enough, because if you commuted more...
I used to commute to London every single day.
Well, you're very damaged by your recent experiences, then, of non-commuting.
No, I just think that when you're sitting on a train, you're miserable, the trains are smelly, and when they're not on time, it upsets your whole day. But when you can either live close to work or you drive to work, you have the freedom to listen to the radio, to be able to listen to talk radio and enjoy the chatter, and you can't do that on a train.
That's supposed to be one that is going to be won over on me, because you're saying that people who drive to work, are necessarily better friends
of listening to you,
better
Tommy.
friends of talk radio than people who go by train or by bus. But the simple fact of the matter is that even if I did drive to and from work, I wouldn't listen to talk radio all the time, because it is work, and I have to own up to that. It is work, and it is not the same as being my own boss, which I am when I'm commuting.
But broadcasting, you would do it for nothing, Tommy. Admit it.
Well, this is a different agenda that you've got, and I don't know why you've got this bee in your bonnet.
I have no bee.
Yes, you've got a bee in your bonnet.
I have no bee.
You want to find out how much I earn. It's as simple as that. How much do you earn?
No.
How much do you earn?
I earn a fair bit. I earn a good living. I'm not worried about that.
Right, well, in that case, I'm not going to answer your question either then, okay?
No, I'm not asking what you earn.
Yes,
Tommy.
you are.
I'm saying you enjoy what you do.
Yes, agreed.
That's why you enjoy commuting.
Yes.
You would do your job, but it's like a fantastic hobby that someone's paying you for.
Yes, that is perfectly true.
Right, so
Yes.
that's why you enjoy commuting.
No.
Because you're sitting on a train thinking, it's wonderful. I'm going into a job that I would do for nothing because someone wants to pay me.
Look, if I was the counsel for prosecution and you were the counsel for defence, and I had just made a series of powerful arguments as to why your client is guilty, all right, you would have to confront them. Now, I have listed a number of the glories of commuting, and you have cut straight through to, it's all right for you, without even beginning to attend the points I have made. When you commute by bus or by train, you get an opportunity to prepare for work. You don't.
No, but you do have the luxury when you're in a car to be able to enjoy the wonders of this beautiful country of ours.
But you can't read.
You can't do that on a train. If you're on the underground, you can't see nothing.
You're not on the underground for more than about 3 minutes, are you? I'm on a train for 2 hours. I've just read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by Shara. Have you? No.
No, I've never come across that, bro.
And while we're on it, guess what I discovered?
I don't know, bro.
You won't believe this.
Go on, tell me.
I've discovered something that nobody knows, and I think it's a world scoop.
Which is?
Do you know who started the Second World War?
Oh, go on, tell me. This is another one of your conspiracy theories.
It's a gorgeous one, man.
You and Oliver Stone, though, I'm sure, are related.
Maybe. Not Adolf Hitler and not Winston Churchill.
Who?
The person who declared war on behalf of Britain against Germany in 1940, when Germany offered elaborate peace terms, was a man at the BBC. It's a fact, and I can prove it.
Was he a commuter?
Probably. Watch this space. Patrick, it's been delightful crossing swords with you.
You too, Tommy. Thank you. Have a great show. It's a great show.
Sad non-commuter you. Bye-bye. Free call 0500 10 53 89. And that is a fact. And having attended to one or two more points of information so that we've got ourselves a watertight argument, I will bring you a serious revelation about one of the great turning points of the 20th century. The number is free call 0500 10 53 89. Commuting. I genuinely feel really sorry for people who don't commute. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. Out of summer
Wait. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
I commute 2 3/4 hours there and 2 3/4 hours back, and I love every minute of it. I really do. It is such quality time with someone who matters, myself. You should get a bit of it. If you live close to where you work, move or get a new job. If you work at home, I genuinely worry about you. And I bet your partner said the same thing. You must be chewing the carpet. It's not just the company of people at work that matters. It's the opportunity to look at the ever-changing British countryside, to prepare yourself for work, to wind down after a day at work. It's your time, quality time, no boss, no family. It's cheap, it's comfortable, it's friendly. You make new friends. You meet partners. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Mark calls from London. You're on Talk Radio, Mark.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Love your show.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. I am a former commuter.
Mm-hmm.
Working from home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't half miss commuting.
Now bet.
Seriously.
Really?
You got kids coming in in the middle of a phone call, kids banging on the door, or the wife calling me down to walk the dog. You know, I miss the actual getting out and getting into the world. You don't actually see the world because you can sit in your robe for half the bloody morning if necessary.
Yep.
It's just being missed, and I miss it like hell.
We need a book or a series or something to help people get over the stresses of giving up commuting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The how to cope with not commuting guide, or words to that effect.
Yeah, something like that.
But it is. I miss it terribly, and the actual, being on a tube with a crowd of people and having to go through the same agonies. Yes, there's agonies, but there's a comradeship involved in commuting.
Yes.
And it's a bond that's there, and you get into work, and God, did you have trouble with the Central Line? I had hell of trouble with the Central Line. But you speak about that for half the morning, and I was one of those people that had to walk through the tunnel when there was a fire in the Central Line.
Right.
And I dined off that story for months.
Exactly. I'm still on nodding terms with some commuters with whom I shared the famous 5-hour journey home about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, nice one.
It was great. They didn't know where to send us. The trains were up the spout completely. When in the end, we just gave up and, we just had a day out of our own lives. It was glorious.
And, you spoke earlier about how you actually can wind down on your way back. That's absolutely true. When I used to work in the city, and I come back, and my journey was an hour and a half, and I would sit back and I would relax on the tube going back with a good book, and sit back and get home, and I would be extremely pleasant to my wife and kids. Whereas now I'm on call 24 hours a day, and be called up at any time in the day or night, and my wife's going through the roof over it. But
you're a wise man, and your years of commuting, I think, helped you become a wise man. And I think you've made some powerful points in favour of commuting. I want to bring in Julie, who's calling from Reading. Julie, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. Well, what I phoned to say was that I used to commute. Through one circumstance and another, we moved closer to where we worked. It were the elements of meeting people, but part of my life was taken away in that when I finished at 8 o'clock at night and finally got on the 9 o'clock bus, and 20 minutes later I was at the station, and then wait 20 minutes for a train, I wouldn't get home till 11 o'clock, and would you believe it was only a 20-minute train journey? I used to do it every day, and I did like meeting people. I read more. I always had a book with me, and it showed how organised I could be in my life. I was always up at the crack of dawn. I had half an hour walk to the station because I was blessed with a challenge of poor eyesight. I will never be able to drive, and I don't understand the people who say they can drive for 4 hours a day. My father does it. But part of my life was taken away. I had to give up my social life, my evening classes, because when I changed job, although the commuting was the same, I finished at 8 o'clock, and it was pitch black, and I got home and I went to bed. So yeah, I agree with part of what you say, but I lost part of my life in that I didn't have a social life. All my people, all the people I associated with and went out with were here in Reading, and I lived in Farnborough, and I couldn't participate in a night at the pub because I couldn't get the last bus home.
But you know, the best bit about going to the pub is surely going to the pub, isn't it?
Well, yes.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
My happiest moment in life is when I'm 3 feet from the pub door.
Yes.
That is a even bigger buzz than actually being at the bar.
Unfortunately, I never got to the bar because the bus would shoot by and I'd have to say, sorry, guys, I'm off.
But it's this thing about travelling in hope. It's the travelling which counts. It's not where you are.
It's you getting there.
The wind in your face because there is momentum in your life because you're travelling.
You're on the move, you're on the go, you're always going.
What's the cruelest thing that we do to prisoners when we lock them up?
We take away their freedom.
Their right to commute.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's why we do it.
I did enjoy commuting to a sense that I met a lot of people, I read a lot more, and it did show me how organised I could be in my life. But I missed out a lot. I mean, I do have a better social life now, but it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. You know?
Julie, thank you for your call. I'm grateful.
Thank you. Bye.
Free call 0500 1053 89. We're celebrating the joys of commuting, and Stephanie calls from Surrey. You're on Talk Radio. Stephanie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Love your show. Love you.
Do you commute a lot?
No, I don't commute anymore, I'm afraid.
Oh.
But I used to see this wonderful girl who used to get on the train a couple of stops after me, and I used to make a point of getting her on the underground so I could sit and face her because I knew where she would get on.
Right.
She'd get on with a great big bag, and she'd sit there, and she'd put her makeup on. She'd clean her face. She'd put her makeup on. She'd then do her hair with an automatic hair thing, and it was wonderful. By the time she left, and it was about 5 stops down, she knew exactly what she was doing because it took quite a while to get through. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was perfect when she got off.
You transformed.
It was wonderful.
Great.
But it was the beauty was so many people pretended they never saw her.
Yeah, oh yes.
It was wonderful, and just looking at people, and they all were watching, and some were fast, but there were some of us who always made sure we got these early seats so we could always sit and watch her.
And sit and watch the girl.
But you never said hello or anything. You just were there.
One of the great bits of street theatre, which I never saw, but I heard about it. I wish I'd seen it. I'd certainly have paid the tenner to go along and watch it. It used to take place on a train, and it was these 2 young out-of-work actors, and what they would do is they would stage something on a crowded train. But only if you'd paid the tenner, right, did you know that they had staged it.
Wonderful.
It was just a little hiatus. It wasn't anything dramatic, otherwise everybody would have known that it was staged.
No, just wonderful.
They underplayed the whole thing. And one of them would get his foot caught under the chair, that's all. Something like that, or just get his foot caught underneath the chair so he couldn't get off at his stop, or something like that.
It's just wonderful watching the other people's reactions.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. I miss commuting. I'm wondering if there could possibly be a start of commuting therapy. You know, when you actually come out of commuting and you then need help.
I think probably...
I haven't commuted for a long time now, and I need...
A smaller percentage of people who commute need care and counselling than people who, for example, are at home all day or just have to walk round the corner to work or drive to work, because you get road rage, but you don't get train rage.
No. I mean, I miss commuting. I just don't commute, so I need some more therapy to kind of help me get back to knowing, you know, what the reality was, how wonderful life was when I commuted.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Stephanie,
Yes.
but at least you've tasted the fruit.
I have indeed.
Free call 0500 1053 89. Sarah calls from Worthing. You're on Talk Radio. Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
Lots of different angles on commuting for me. First one is I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
Second one is my dad commuted for 47 years. Yeah, so I always grew up with that. I went all through the nights he didn't come home because of IRA bombs and God knows what else. Then going on from that, I started commuting. Moving on from that, I met my husband through commuting, and we ended up getting married, and 9 months ago we had twin boys.
Fantastic.
So
hopefully one day we'll I was going to say pick up the baton, but I suppose I should say pick up the umbrella or whatever is the symbol of the commuter.
Yeah.
Laptops these days.
Yes, it used to be umbrella and bowler hat, didn't it?
A lot of people get a lot of work done on that train, you know.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And on the bus.
I used to.
Yeah,
and also
yeah.
got quite a lot of courting done.
It's a great place to meet women.
Well, funnily enough, I met a man.
Whatever.
Yes, indeed, whatever. Take your fancy.
Yeah.
But, so as soon as you started talking and saying all the things you said, I totally agreed with you.
How did you get talking to him, this commuter that you fancied?
Well, don't have embarrassment now because he doesn't even know this. But we often
you haven't told him this?
No, I've never even told him this.
But you're going to tell
here.
us?
I will tell him tonight.
You're going to tell us this?
I'm going to.
Oh, I like these. Okay.
We used to often sit together. One day we were on a train. It was very late. Again, touched a nerve just now when you said about finding there's a buffet car and having a drink.
Yep.
He said to me, would you like a log or something? So I said, oh, yes. Anyway, I had this and then said to him, oh, I don't normally drink. It's gone to my head. And proceeded to pretend to go to sleep on his shoulder.
Oh, babe.
And then wrapped my arm around his tummy and laid there for an hour and a half while the train came down to Sussex. And sort of went from there. And he always thought I genuinely went to sleep.
Diddly-dee-dee-dee. Yes. And your hand just flopped across him?
Yes.
When you say across his tummy, you mean his lap?
Sort of tummy lap, yes. And just...
Sort of tummy lap?
You know exactly what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
And
I know this train. When was
were
this?
There, weren't you? Yes.
When was this? I know all the trains in Britain. I love the trains in Britain.
Yes.
South coast to Birmingham and back in a day. That's my record.
Yes.
Anyway, when was this? How long ago was this?
This was, a year and a half ago.
Understood.
And then we got married.
Elsewhere then.
And then had, as I say, twin boys. So, one of them are in my arms now.
Why have you never told him that you feigned inebriation, dear?
Because I'd worried that he'd then think I had feigned other things.
I'm with you. Do you?
No, I don't. But, desperate men do desperate things, don't they? And I was desperate.
You're great, you are. I can tell you've been a commuter.
Yes.
If you hadn't been a commuter, you wouldn't be able to deal with any of this.
No.
No, your communication skills are absolutely top-notch because you were a commuter.
Do you think?
I do.
Right.
I wouldn't say it if I didn't.
I'll tell you what, I've heard you before now say about people you've met on the train or conversations you've struck up.
Marvellous.
And I've often thought, I wish, when I've been on the train, there'd been someone like you, because there are days when you think you look opposite to someone and you think, yes, I can start talking to them, and it just doesn't happen, does it?
No.
And then you've got to sit there for an hour and something.
Yes, you're right. You begin one of those conversations and it doesn't work. But that's okay. It all polishes our social skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that can't be a bad thing.
No.
All right, lovely talking with you
and
anyway.
You.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Great story.
Thanks a lot.
Because she was a commuter. That's why she is profound. That's why she's rich. That's why she's in touch with herself. And that's why because she commuted, she can get in touch with other people, which she did so effortlessly, even though she probably hasn't had a good night's sleep for how many weeks with a baby. Twins. You see what commuters are? I love them. I mean us. I do. You should, if you don't. Leslie calls from Hertfordshire. You're on Talk Radio, Leslie.
Hello, Tommy.
Hi.
Don't commute so much anymore, but I've met some incredible people on my commuting. I don't like the London Underground, but my commuting was, I used to live in Hong Kong, and I had to commute for my work to the factories I worked with in Taiwan, planes. And I met some incredible people, but one particular person was, he was a refugee from Czechoslovakia when they were taken over, and he escaped, just with a rucksack, overland to Sweden.
Really?
And I met him, I didn't know this until I got talking to him, because I'm a bit of a talker, 7 years, and then he got his passport, and he's on his way around the world. And I've met him in Taiwan, and he looked a lost soul. He didn't fit. And I thought it was a very difficult airport to get around. Wait for this, Tommy. I said, can I help you? He said, yes, I'm looking for the men's room. So I pointed him in the right direction. We came out, and it was very difficult in those days, in the 70s, to get through passport control. So I helped him through. Then he didn't know where to go, and I just helped him, and he told me what he was looking for, businesses and factories, and we kept in touch by writing, and he had the most remarkable stories to tell me, and we became very good friends. I then moved to South Africa, and he'd set up his own business by this time. He'd made a lot of money from nothing, and he called me, and I said, where are you? I was in South Africa working. And he said, I'm at the airport. I said, what? And so I whizzed out of my office, never mind the work.
You fancy this bloke a bit, don't you?
No, not now.
Yes, no. I can tell you're drenched in infatuation, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Oh, you are?
What I'm saying is commuting.
Oh, I know, it's romantic.
He was such an interesting man.
It's romantic, isn't it? It's
Sorry?
romantic. Commuting is romantic.
Not all the time, but and even on the London Underground, I've helped people.
I know.
People from all over the world.
What I'm saying, it's swashbuckling with whether it's a good lengthy bus ride. And I'm not talking about anything fiddly like 9 to 11 minutes. I'm talking about a good half hour on the bus, or certainly 3 or 4 stops on the train. Obviously, flying from Hong Kong to Taiwan is serious commuting. I tried it myself for a brief period of time, commuting from Spain. Which was grand. It was, again, you just didn't know whether you were sitting next to a drug dealer or a gun runner or whatever. Fantastic. Marvellous. And the same goes, of course, on your bus. But no, obviously not, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, there's always something mysterious about a stranger. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're celebrating commuting. I feel really sorry for you if you don't commute. You just don't know what you're missing. That number again, free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument.
10 53 89.
Here's Martin calling from Croydon. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Tommy. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Just thought I'd let you know that the the rail stoppage last Thursday that you were so talking about is what I want to talk about. Is that I, until that point, didn't really realise the actual basis behind commuting, which, as everyone has said today, is camaraderie. As you well know, I was your companion throughout that trip. Well, not through
I bought you a beer.
Part. Sorry?
I bought you a beer.
You definitely did.
Fantastic.
And that's what I was going to say, that you bought a complete stranger a beer.
Yeah.
I mean, you got on with someone who you'd never met before, and it's all just the fact that we were going on the same goal. We were actually on the same journey, and everybody has to pull together.
You were on that 5-hour trip. Well, and there was a queue for the telephone that was about 40 people long, and we were all chatting away about that. And should we get a taxi, or a 50-mile taxi? And
that's just it. A group of people that were travelling in the same direction all said, "Oh, if you're going to get a taxi, can we come with you?"
It was
I mean,
great.
these are strangers that wouldn't talk to you before, but the thing is, they were all commuting.
I loved every minute of it. I loved every minute of it, and I hark back to something that I talked about earlier this afternoon, because I think I told you I was reading The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich.
Absolutely.
Which you can do if you commute.
You can.
And I told you about the story that the BBC started the Second World War.
Yes.
Yes.
You did. You told me that.
Right. I remember you. Of course. Fantastic. Martin, I'm so glad you called.
Yeah.
To corroborate my key point.
Yep. You're a diamond. You're 1 in a million. Anyway, I'll let you get on.
Commuters are communicators. Free call 0500 10 53 89. That's why they call it, for example, the communication cord, and not the emergency button, which it will be called anywhere else. Thank you, Martin. Wonderful. Dean calls from Huddersfield. You're on Talk Radio. Dean.
Hello, Tommy.
Dean.
I love your show, but I have to say, commuting is garbage. It's rubbish.
It isn't, right?
It is.
Well, let's hear the argument, then try. You can
Okay,
try.
then.
You can try.
People who use mobile phones on trains are irritating.
Fantastic.
You can guarantee that if a mobile phone goes off on the phone, it'll be the bloke who's sat next to you. And he'll talk loud. He'll talk louder because he's trying to get his voice above all the other people on the train.
Well, it's not going to make your eardrums bleed, is it? And it's nice to find out a bit about other people's lives. Aren't you nosy? I am.
Yeah, That's not the only reason, though. There's also children on trains as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried being on a 2-hour train journey where you've had children running up and down the same carriage?
Fantastic.
Being noisy, loud, causing chaos. And you're trying to read your War and Peace.
Oh, you're a dead man. I love children anywhere doing anything. I always carry stuff that I can entertain children with in my bag, always. Yeah. You should. Try it.
I'll try it next time.
Have some paper and some different coloured pens.
I'll take some juggling balls or something.
Or
Stand up on the carriage.
Or a harmonica and play them some songs. That's what I do. That's what you should do.
I'll try
You
that.
don't commute enough.
I don't commute. I don't like it. Also,
It shows. You're an empty man, Dean.
Drunk people on trains.
Fantastic.
Terrible. If you're on a train and a drunk person gets on, being loud, maybe being abusive, you can guarantee that person will sit down next to you.
You've seen that Billy Connolly sketch, haven't you, about why the nutter always sits next to you in the bus?
That's my point, exactly.
Jasper Carrot, in fact, rather than Billy Connolly. But Billy Connolly probably does it as well.
Yes.
Just imagine all alternative comedians do the if there's a nutter, why does he always sit next to me? But they do it better than you. No, come on, don't exaggerate. You get the odd tiddly person on the train, and that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but if you're driving in your car, you don't get somebody sat next to you causing abuse.
But I like humanity, you see. It's you and Stephen Norris. You know what Shagger Norris said about commuting? He said he always goes in his car because he doesn't want to have to spend any time with humanity. Yeah. But I love humanity, and you do, don't you?
Yes, but it is nice to avoid trains and that sort of thing. I mean, you may get some pleasant people on the train, but you're not guaranteed pleasant people. More than likely, you'll get drunk people, noisy children, people causing chaos.
Can't you see how distorted and poisoned your view of humanity is? And it's wrong.
It's right.
It's wrong.
I'm absolutely correct.
The world is full of people like you. And if you don't like people, you don't like yourself.
I do like myself.
Well,
I don't like commuting.
Doesn't come across, you see.
Mm.
If you liked yourself enough, you would like yourself enough to know that other people deserve you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
It's an argument, isn't it?
It is a little bit.
Oh, dear.
A weak argument.
Sorry?
A weak argument.
Well, not as weak as yours, be honest. Nice to talk to you, Dean.
Okay, then.
Good try.
Bye-bye.
Wow, fair try. The number is free call 0500 1053 89.
On Talk to Tommy Boyd. Free call 0500 1053 89.
Phil's next in Aberdeen. Phil.
Oh, hi, Tom.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Radio.
Oh, thank you. I'm a sort of perpetual commuter, I think. I go to work on a Monday and don't stop moving till I get home again on Friday. Does that count?
I don't think so. What do you do?
Long-distance driver.
Not really.
Driver.
No, I'm afraid you're not a member of this proud profession.
Oh, dear.
Well, it's not a profession, really. We pay for it. It's the opposite.
I'm rather intrigued as to where you live. I mean, 2.25 hours in, 2.25 hours out. I mean, you must never be at home.
I'm home about the right amount of time, and I come home in a good frame of mind because I commute. Yes.
Well, I don't know. Wind me up. I'm not sure. I mean, all those people.
Well, let me just deconstruct this for a second, Phil, for you. Although I think you probably recognise this. A lot of things in life you have to do.
Yeah.
And the easy thing to do is to deny things that you have to do, to confront them, to battle against them.
Mm-hmm.
And we get we get plenty of support. Like, for example, there's been a big TV campaign running recently for something or other, in which you see a commuter about to have a heart attack because he commutes.
Yeah.
Okay, and the pressure piles up on people who do it. They feel weak, and they feel faceless, and they feel irrelevant, and they feel defeated, and they feel like they're victims. But it's all in the mind. That's all I'm saying. It's all in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to be said for commuting. And if we can look forward to doing something that we have to do, that everybody else is telling us is painful, then it's not going to take quite such a big bite out of us.
Yeah.
In fact, quite the opposite.
I mean, I understand a bit about watching the world go by, because, I mean, my lorry broke down in Edinburgh last year, and I had to come home on the train. And the train journey home from Edinburgh way, all the way back down to where I'm from Merseyside, the railway route tends to follow the sort of road route that goes along. And it was like actually sort of stepping outside myself for a little while, because I was watching all the lorries doing what I normally do. And I quite liked being on the train. That was quite nice, watching the world whiz past.
I was going down to Birmingham once on an intercity with a guy who was a very, very, very serious bloke. He was a big TV executive. And at one point, the train was going alongside the motorway.
Yeah.
And there were cars and lorries going slightly slower than we were. So we were overtaking them, but slowly.
Yeah.
Okay. And he broke off the conversation with me to give V signs to the drivers. He was 57, and like in a three-piece suit in the works.
Yeah.
And he was travelling first class on the breakfast and everything. Put his cigar out and was, enjoying himself enormously.
Yeah, a rail yob.
Yeah. Well,
that fellow was intrigued at your salary earlier, wasn't he? He was digging away at that.
Yeah, people do, don't they? Men do, don't they?
I know what you earned. Anyway.
Of course you do. I've said it before, and
of course you have.
I'm not going to go on about it. Exactly. I did.
wasn't listening.
There you were.
Hey, be a good idea for a programme, that.
What?
Instead of opening each other's mail up, what do we all earn?
Yeah.
Bring people up what you do, how much you get. Wow.
What a good idea. What a good idea. An hour on who earns what.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm going to wind all the lorry drivers up now.
Why?
I made 34,000 this year.
You did easy, and you didn't declare it all either.
No, I didn't.
Hey!
Yeah.
Nor did I.
No,
all right.
lying through my teeth, but there you go, 21, but so what?
Phil, great to talk to you.
Cheers, Tom.
You drive safely.
Yes, mate.
John's next, calling from Staffordshire. You're on Talk Radio. John, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hello, John.
Oh, good afternoon, Tommy. How are you?
I'm well. You?
About 15 years ago, I applied for a job in Hong Kong. And I had to go down to London, obviously, for the interview.
Right.
And my wife and I got on the train at Crewe, and we were travelling down. And we were chatting on the way down with each other. And there was loads of people on the train, and no one was talking to each other at all. And we just said, well, wouldn't it be a fantastic idea? This was before these fly-on-the-wall TV things came up. If a TV come onto the particular train and said, well, where are you going and why? I mean, what answers would you get from, say, 100 people?
Very good idea. Very good idea. You should wear name badges on a train. If you're commuting at all, you should wear name badges with your name on it and what you'd like to talk about. Football. Yeah. You could put, you could last night's match.
Yeah.
Or the peace process in Northern Ireland. I don't suppose you get many takers on that one, but know.
Well, we flew down to, we tried to go by train a few months ago down to Heathrow, but we couldn't get it for one reason or other, and we went down by the shuttle. And I was sitting by a chap next door, and I thought he was going on holiday like us, and I said, where are you going to? He said, I'm going to Kuala Lumpur. No, I said, that's nice, you're going on holiday. He said, no, I'm going working. I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to sell power stations. Well, you could have floored me. I didn't know people sold power stations.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. I mentioned the other day on the programme the man I met who was working for the Ministry of Defence, and he was going down to sweep out Britannia. From any, of any surveillance equipment that might have been left there accidentally.
Oh, I didn't know. I must have missed that one.
That was his story. No. It was just fascinating. You just bump into all sorts.
Yeah.
And then there was a time when, again, I was on a train that was headed eventually for Portsmouth, and this chap got on about 2 stops before Portsmouth, and as we got into Portsmouth, and it wasn't an easy journey, we'd had to stop a couple of times, he said, well, that's the worst part of my journey over. So I said, where are you going? Because that's what he obviously wanted to do. And he said, Johannesburg, which was...
It floors you, doesn't it?
It was a nice one. Yeah, listen, John, thanks for your call, but that's the reputation that commuting has, that it's a nightmare, and it's just not. I mean, it's heaven, isn't it, Andrew, in Tregaron?
Yes, indeed.
Heaven.
It is. I've been commuting for 4 years, basically 6 hours a day, almost. It's getting on for 7 at times, and I met someone very special on the train 3 years ago, and ended up slipping her a note, and she ended up becoming my wife. So.
What did the note say?
It's give me a call.
Did it really?
Yeah.
And for how many hours, days, or weeks had you been exchanging eyes and reckoning that?
For a week.
Really?
Week.
But you'd never said anything.
No, but I got the impression that it was all okay to go that far as to give her a note.
Yes.
And had a mobile number on it, which of course is it's supposed to be a turn-off if you give someone a mobile number, because they think you don't want to give your home number because your wife will answer it. But
yeah, I'd never thought that through. That wouldn't have occurred to me. That's because I was doing this sort of thing before there were mobiles. But thanks for the tip, in case it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, it's our anniversary today, so I just wanted to say hello and thank you for your show, and it's great. And that thing about swans yesterday was so amazing that I just agreed with so much of what you said, that me and my mates went out and spaded a few nests last night, and there's about 10 less swans in the world as a result of your show. Well done.
Andrew, thank you for your irony. A little bit heavy-handed, perhaps. Well, anyway, there we are. Far from being a crushed victim, the commuter is a magnificent latter-day predator padding across the scorched urban savannah on the scent of his quarry, a fearless defender and provider for spouse and offspring. This selfless, noble beast has attuned his existence to meet needs and musts, not whims and dreams, and as such is worthy league leader of Darwin's evolutionary table of survival and fitness first, sitting around doing nothing last. As we heard in this hour, the commuter is trim and alert, yet relaxed, is tuned up for the fray and yet toned down for his loved ones. Above all, he is sound in mind and spirit, in spite of the occasional bout of frustration, tiredness and despair. Mood swings, paranoia, senseless violence, acts of cheap pettiness, shallow selfishness, etc., etc. I'm off home now. I should be there about 7:30. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.